Welcome, everyone. I have the very distinct pleasure today of interviewing my good friend, Michael Neeley, who has a extremely valuable live event coming up in April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, that, of course, I'll be at. But I've been to before, which is why I can talk personally about what you're going to experience there. But before we do that, let's welcome Michael. And Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you're doing this event, what this event is about, who should be listening right now, and what they're going to get from it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you, first of all, so much for having me, JJ. I love you to death. You're an amazing woman, and I love what you're up to in the world. And thank you for sharing me with your wonderful tribe. As you know from last year's event, so much fun. I think the big thing, as you know, one of my goals is to have the planet wake up. And part of my mission with my show, Consciously Speaking, is to do that one person at a time, whatever it takes. But as I was progressing with that show, I also realized that a lot of people were coming to me and asking me of how I grew my audience and how I grew my platform to really have the impact that I'm having. And it made me also realize, well, if I can teach other heart-centered entrepreneurs how to have an impact with their messages as well, it creates a bigger ripple effect in waking up the planet. And so that's when I created the Authority Blueprint of how to do that, how to get your message out to the world in as big a way as possible so that you can have a maximum impact.
So your focus is on entrepreneurs, or maybe not want to be like in a down the line kind of way, but like right now want to be entrepreneurs who are heart-centered, conscious, and want to bring a bigger, more well-rounded message to the world.
Yeah, and then quite honestly, though, the more I think about this, and that's a great question, truth is it could be for someone who's not necessarily entrepreneurial in nature, but maybe they've just got a book and a message that they want to get out there, and they still want to keep their 9-to-5 job, but they also want to get heard in a bigger way. And so, yeah, it would be good for those people too, just anybody who has something itching inside them to get out.
Yeah, we talked about this last year before your event on the show about, I forget what the title of the show was called, but it was basically, I was trying to invite people who, I don't know anyone that doesn't have a book inside of them. I don't know anyone that doesn't say, I want to write a book. Now, of course, there's the people that are really serious about writing the book, and the people who say that they want to write a book, but they're never going to write the book. But the person who really feels like on point in their mission to really get that out there, you know, the first thing is to birth the book, but then what do you do with it? It's like one thing to just have it, but if nobody knows about it and no one else reads it, then it was great for you to birth it and say, hey, I wrote this book, but it really makes more of an impact in the world when you actually get it out there. You speak about it, you sell about it, you do a tell someone about it, and that's what Michael positions it with. So whether you don't want to think about those things yet, podcasting, you know, other things, if you're the person who's been sitting on the fence about this book that you've been holding on to for years and years and years, and you're finally like, okay, maybe it's ready to do something with it, then listen up. Now, the rest of you, some of you already have some of these things in place, and some of you aren't entrepreneurs at all, but you know somebody who might have a really strong message, and maybe you're dragging your feet because you know what? You're one of those conscious entrepreneurs who's really heart-centered and very right-brained. So what that means is that you're just like oozing emotion, and you love everybody. Maybe you're like a healer, but you have zero linear structure, which is why your message stays small and you can't get it out to many people. And what I love about Michael's event and Michael is that how we work together, and what I appreciate about him is I think we have the same similar sort of balance of masculine, feminine, right brain, left brain. Like you need both. Like we want the message to get out there, but you need a vehicle to do it. So, okay, so we're calling the people who have a mission. You're mission-based, you're heart-centered. Let's talk about what they're going to get out of the event. What are they going to learn? What are they going to leave with? Yeah. What are they going to do at the event? Because you know what my complaint was just about events in general. Like I want people to feel like they're coming in and they're actually going to do the work, so they have something to, like, you know, you call it the blueprint. Do they leave with a blueprint?
Yeah. Well, and I love the term that you just used a moment ago, JJ, is they need the vehicle to get them there. And I love that analogy because it's exactly right. What a lot of people are doing is they're creating parts. And so imagine if you created a door to your vehicle. Great, you got a door, but that's all you got. Or you create a steering wheel. Can't get real far with just a steering wheel. You need to make the full vehicle to get transported to where you want to go. And so similarly, a book is just one part of it. you need some more parts to really make it all work well together and to catapult you, become this vehicle that's going to take you to becoming the go-to expert in your field. And so the other parts are your speaking engagements, podcasting, and virtual summits. And when you combine that with authoring your own book, and you do these in a sequential pattern, and this is where I talk about the blueprint, why it's so important. Similar, if you were to build any type of a vehicle or mode of transportation, you start with the blueprint. What's it all going to work? What's it all going to look like? And how's it all going to work together when it's built? And so I teach the methodology of how to start easily, how to make things work well with each other and interweave them so they become so much more powerful. And yes, you will walk away from this live 3-day workshop with that blueprint in hand. Lots of aha moments about, oh, cool, I see how these work together and how I can make it so much better.
What was fun last year was when we started talking about the virtual summit, because that's the one piece that I haven't done yet either. And Doug hasn't either. And Doug and I were both sitting there, and we both were independently writing down, like all of a sudden, like the juices started flowing. We're like, okay, who do we have on it? Who do we invite? Who do we want to have it? And so we started writing down like names of friends and colleagues and people that we would want to include. So, it definitely gets the creative juices flowing. It gets that clarity. It gets sort of like your next steps. So, so that was a fun piece. So let's talk about the dates and the location.
Yeah, so it's going to be April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, happening here in Santa Cruz, California, beautiful, right along the coast here. And there's actually going to be a meet and greet cocktail party the night before on March 31st. So hopefully everybody can come up here, get settled into their hotel, and start with that party. JJ is going to be here. Doug is going to be here. And the capacity in which you guys are going to be here, I think, is so important. And it's an element of my event that I don't think anybody else is doing that I think really adds a nice touch. And that is, as you know, I've created these 3 miniature podcast recording studios. And so those will be on site. So people will get an opportunity to see, what does a little podcast recording studio look like? And what is it like to go on air with somebody? And you can see how easy it really is. And so I want people to have that touchy-feely aspect of the experience to really get, oh, I can do this. So that's also a fun element.
And especially for some, Doug's different than I am, but I know for me, and I know for some of the other podcasters, we get bombarded all the time with people wanting to be on our shows. And I'll be very honest, I have never, I did like check in with that. Nope, I have never taken anyone who has emailed me, whether it be through a publicist or through, mine is a personal relationship. Now, my publicist had someone who actually, she invited me on her show first, and I was like, oh, I have to have her on my show. But I've never been pitched where I've said yes via email, because I don't know the person. I don't know any, and yes, I can read about them, but that doesn't translate on a podcast. Podcast is personal energy. And so you have an opportunity when you come to Michael's event to meet some of the podcasters who you might want to be on our shows. And while it's not a guarantee you're going to be on our shows, it's the best way to get on our shows is to actually meet people, have conversations, build a relationship, and then see. And then even if it's not, like if someone's coming with an idea that won't fit my show, I would refer you to someone else who it would. And in those booths, we're going to be doing little mini interview / testing things. So that way we can have some audio to send to our friends whose podcast you might be right for. So
yeah, it's almost like little auditions kind of.
Right. Okay. So, and by the way, we may be, what time is the Sunday cocktail party? We're going to be there, but we're going to
You got a full schedule?
We have a very full schedule. So we're going to be coming south to Santa Cruz from Sonoma.
Okay.
Which you'll hear all about. But anyway, so what time does that start? Like 6 maybe?
6:30 or 7. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, maybe we'll be on time. All right, great. All right, so then it's in Santa Cruz. And then let's talk about the price of the event. So what's the price of the event and what do they get?
Yeah. So right now there are 2 versions of tickets. There's a platinum ticket and a VIP ticket. The platinum ticket full price is $19.97, but right now the early bird price is still available at $11.97. The VIP ticket, normally $14.97, is on sale right now, early bird at $997. However, for friends of yours, JJ, and your tribe, which I know and love your tribe, having spoken at your events as well, we're going to give them an extra discount of another $800 off. So if they just use the code FRIEND, FRIEND, all caps, they will get an extra $800 off. So you can get your ticket for as low as $197 for a VIP ticket. That includes your lunches at the event, it includes the cocktail party, and it includes a nice swag bag. So all of that for just $197.
So people realize that what is that, 3 lunches? Is that 3 lunches, a cocktail party, a swag bag would cost you more than $197 in life. So, and on top of that, you're getting to network, you're getting to audition for podcasts, and you're getting a blueprint for your business and or your book and or your podcast or whatever, the whole thing for your business. So, okay, that is a great deal. So again, friend is the code in all caps, FRIEND, to get it for next to nothing. Okay, cool. So let's talk. Okay.
I was just like, yeah, you got it.
Great, cool. Okay. Well, let's talk about the website. We have the code. What's the website?
Yeah. So they can go to the link, which we'll put in the show notes for them to get access to that. Or if they want, they can go, I think it's probably going to be the easiest for just put a link right below the video in Facebook or wherever. Probably be the easiest. Otherwise, it's a bit.ly link, YABL 2019.
YABL 2019. So bit.ly dot?
Yep, bit.ly/YABL 2019, and YABL, Your Authority Blueprint Live 2019.
Okay, so there'll be so no matter where you're watching this, there'll be a link either in the description or above it or below it in a comment, because I'm sure
somewhere.
Okay. Now I also know, because today is the 15th, it's the Ides of March. I also know you're doing some crazy bonus thing we've missed the first bonus, so we're now on the 6th. So basically, Michael started this yesterday, 7 days of bonuses. So if you signed up yesterday, you got all 7 bonuses. If you sign up today, you get 6 of them. If you sign up tomorrow, you get 5 of them. So if the next day, you get 4 of them.
Yeah.
You get the understanding. So let's go over what's left. I'm going to post this today. So what is the bonuses?
Okay. So this is where it gets a little crazy. So let me pull up the list, because it is quite a list of hellacious bonuses. And I will tell you that in this list of bonuses, that each bonus is worth more than the price of the ticket far and away at the $197 rate. So it's a killer deal. But I also want to be very specific, because last year, JJ, the bonuses were so awesome. People were buying the tickets knowing that they couldn't make it to the event just because they wanted all of the bonuses. So that kind of defeated the purpose of me putting the bonuses together, which are to make sure people show up at the event and get this incredible training. What that means is that these first 3 bonuses I'm going to list are only good if you show up at the event. You have to show up to claim them, so be sure to keep that in mind. But bonuses 5, 6, and 7, you're going to get whether you show up or not. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Bonus number 1, 50% off of one of my podcast launch weekends. And that's good for any of the podcast launch weekends in 2019 or 2020. These events are done for you, done with you kind of events where you come to my home and we get your podcast launched over a period of 3 days. 50% off in that. That's a $2,500 value. You're going to get that good anytime. A full day VIP group mastermind at my home here in Santa Cruz, California. Now, the full day VIP mastermind normally goes for $1,997. You're going to get that as a bonus. You're also going to get my premier online podcasting course. Now this, if you go to my website right now, you'll find it there available to you, $1,497. You're going to get that free if you get your ticket and you show up. Now those first 3 that I just mentioned, those you have to actually show up at the event to claim those, but right there, that's over $4,000 in value. The 5th piece that you're going to get is you can get a 4-episode sponsorship package on Consciously Speaking. That's my podcast, which has over 2 million downloads now, and you can get 4 sponsorship pieces. That means I'll read your ad for 4 consecutive episodes. $1,000 value minimum right there. You get that included. And that, by the way, whether you show up or not. The next one, you get a one-on-one 1-hour launch strategy session with me. It's a $500 value. You get that included, whether you show up or not. Get your ticket today to get that bonus. And number 7, or actually the last of the 7 bonuses, but of course we're only doing 6 now today, you get a bonus ticket to bring a friend to the event. So now for $197, you're getting to bring 2 people for $197.
They get to eat lunch too?
They get to eat lunch too, but they don't get all those bonuses. So the bonuses are for you, and your guest gets to come along for free.
Okay.
So all in all, that's like over $6,000 of bonuses for a $197 ticket. I know it's crazy. That's why I call it my 7 days of crazy madness sale.
You are crazy, right?
Yes.
And I love you, but I love you. So let's talk about, all right, so everyone's thinking, all right, okay, yeah, I'm going to get all this stuff. Great. And I may be ready for it, and maybe not, but let me hear some results. So let's talk about that you've been working with some people. Let's talk about your results as well as some of the people that you've been working with. So any testimony you have to show that this stuff works?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's use myself as a first example. I mean, it's not like I, came up with this brilliant idea like, oh, what about this, and finesse it all out. No, what happened is I hit a certain level in my career, and people were coming out of the woodwork asking me, well, how did you do that? Well, what did you do? What did you do to advance your career so quickly? What did you do to become the go-to expert? And I looked back at how things had progressed for me, and I realized how it had happened so fast. And then I saw, oh, there's a formula. This is a replicatable formula here that could be used. And so it's the way that I built my business. I started with my podcast. I did a virtual summit 6 months later, not even thinking of what it would ultimately lead to. That led to me getting speaking gigs and booked on other people's stages, which led to me doing my own meetups and my own live events. And all of this, by the way, was there to support a book that I had been working on for like 6 or 7 years. And now I had the platform in which I could publish it and actually promote it and cross-do it. And so all of it kind of happened naturally for me. And as a testimony to that, JJ, I mean, we met. Yeah, you've got my book right there. Excellent. And I've got a copy too.
I bet you don't have a copy of my book sitting right there.
I probably do somewhere, but I'd have to go and dig. It's somewhere in one of my shelves around here. So this kind of happened naturally, and it's because of that in the podcasting realm that I met you. We've networked. We now do the New Media Summit every year after year. We've both done it 4 times now. It's things like that. I've spoken on your stage. You've spoken on my stage. All of this has evolved because of this particular blueprint, really. And now in working with clients and teaching them this, they're getting these same results. I mean, one of my clients who literally just completed the podcast launch weekend is already, she's like, why didn't I start a podcast years ago? Just from doing this now, it's opening up so many doors and speaking gigs, and she hasn't even done a virtual summit yet. And so it really will all help to put you on the map in a big way.
Yeah. And we met from your podcast and my podcast, and then you had me on your virtual summit. So that strengthened that relationship. And then then you came to speak at my event both times at Releasing What Weighs You Down. So it's a good program, and really there is a formula, and it doesn't have to be done in a specific time frame, but it definitely will commit you to taking your dream, taking your passion, taking your mission, and giving it some structure, especially those of you out there that are healers and body workers, and and you're just, I know you have this passion that's inside of you, and you really want to get it out there, but you year after year get too overwhelmed in your mind with too much to do and learning this and learning that and not really having any help or structure. So what happens is you just sort of flounder in the same place, and then but inside that you really want your message, you wish you could get it out there, and here's an opportunity to do that. So whether it be through just the teachings that Michael is going to have for you, or meeting other podcasters who can help spread your message, it's a great, and I'm going to swear on my own show. It's going to go on YouTube and binge, so I don't know if I can swear, but I'd say something much worse than for like, you put in the friend code for $197. Like literally, you can't eat 3 lunches and have a happy hour and drinks for $197 in any place that's not McDonald's. Okay, and we don't right. So all right. So the link is below and above and to the side, and it's here somewhere. Click on it. Put in capital letters friend, and we hope to see you there. Let's just, last year was your first event, and this is now your second event, and I know what changed for me between my first, second, and third event. So think about the person who's sitting there and they're on the fence about it. They're like, yeah, I have a message, but I've been kind of, I've been okay so far. Why now? Why should I go now? What's the message that that you would have for them, Michael, to sort of to get off the couch and do something about it?
Yeah. And I'm glad you asked that, JJ, because it was just literally what was rolling around in my mind right then. And it's such a great question, because this is the big challenge that a lot of us face is we feel like there's not enough motivation, either the pain or pleasure principle, as I call it. We're not in a painful enough spot to take action, or there's not enough of that great pleasure on the other side of the victory line to stop the inertia, to get us out of that inertia and into action. And I think one of the big things that I would say to anybody right now is, look, you're going to be, whatever you do, if you decide at some point that you're going to be getting your message out there, inevitably, you can go that road alone. And I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but it's going to cost you more in the long run, because what you're going to get in an event like this is you're going to get to learn from my mistakes. You're going to get to learn from, with my podcast having now over 370 episodes, and JJ knows too, hers has even more, that we've made every mistake there probably is to make. So there's no need for you to replicate those. Come to an event like this and you will learn to get like the shortcuts, the insider tips and secrets. So it's worth it. Even if you think of like, oh, if what's stopping you is I can't get away from work, trust me, you're going to end up wasting a lot more time than if you were to come to the event by doing stuff that's not going to get you where you want to go. If you're concerned about money, it's going to cost me for lodging and travel. I guarantee you that it's going to cost you more in lost revenue if you don't take action, and if you don't take action in a way that's going to eliminate the money wasting mistakes that you're probably already making. So don't keep making excuses to hold yourself where you are. True change is going to happen outside your comfort zone. And so get to this event and we're going to have action and we're going to make stuff happen for you.
I had a coaching session with a client who you met at the first Releasing Weighs You Down. She bought your book, she read your book, she reached out to you, right? She sent you a letter, and it was one of those realizations for me. When you're an entrepreneur and you kind of have the brain of Michael and I, kind of think alike, you get excited about an idea and you always get creative ideas. Like, creative ideas are not in short number here. So it's really what you act on. That's the lesson for the people who have too much information, is learning how to discern what to act on and what not to act on, and how to tell when that's a good idea or not. But for those of you that have worked for someone else for a long period of time or done the same thing over and over again, where I've learned scarcity really comes from, it's not just the fear of lack, it's that you have no other idea of what is possible for you. Like, I'm working with this client and she's getting ready to retire, and we're planning for her retirement. And I'm helping her in a financial way, like to think about how to think about retirement so she can continue working with me. She continued doing events and spending extra money. And it's amazing how excited not only I got and she got about the opportunity, that I'm like, do you realize you're going to make more in retirement because you're not so limited? Like, she had no idea. So if you have a podcast, or if you write a book, or you speak on stage, and let's say, again, I remember the show that we did, and it had to do with one of the favorite things that you've said since I've known you that I love is you're always a couple steps ahead of somebody. And some people are only looking for that person. They don't want the person that's 20 steps ahead because they can't relate to them. But for the person who's just a few steps ahead, it's like, oh, that's doable. And so for this client, when I started to outline all of the different things she could take her own skill sets and open her mind to the ways that she can make money. So if you have a podcast or a book or a speaking gig, and you just teach somebody who is a couple steps behind you to do what you did, like Michael is doing right now, that's worth at least a couple $100 per hour. And then if you start getting a couple of those, like, start to do the math on that. Like, it doesn't take that many clients or opportunities for you to make a significant amount of money. So even if you got one client out of it for $200, it pays for this ticket, which is silly. So anyway, so this is not about the money. So stop thinking it's about the money. So
right.
Really, that's the only thing it's determining right now, if you're still listening to this and watching this, is whether or not you're ready to get your message out. If you're ready to get your message out and stop using the excuse, you don't have the time, you don't know how, blah, 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 blah. If your message is strong enough, if your message is your mission, then it's time. And I would also say, for those of you, some people like to complain about what goes on in the world. you have two opportunities. You can be a victim or you can be a victor. You can be proactive or you can be reactive. And if you're tired of being reactive, the only other thing that you can do is be proactive. And your message is probably a positive one that could actually start to quiet down the noise of all the things we're reacting to. So again, your bigger mission here isn't just money in your pocket. It's whatever your mission is, whatever your message is, and there's a certain bit of responsibility. And I don't mean that in like I'm holding you responsible or anyone else's, but think about the responsibility you have for yourself to share that. So I hope to see you at the event. Please click on the link above or below or to the side or in a comment or wherever it is. Add in the code FRIEND in capital letters, FRIEND, to get your stupid dumb price of $190. Like it's like a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So come to the event. We're gonna have a good time. You're gonna learn a lot, and you're gonna have a plan that you can put into action to finally bring your message to reality and to actually help make a difference on the planet.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that I'm looking forward to seeing you there. JJ, you have just the most wonderful tribe. I love meeting your people every time I do one of your events. I hope that they'll come to this event and maybe even some who I haven't met before at one of yours. Let's hope they show up because it's going to be super valuable and we all get to hang out and play together.
Yeah, and it's the kind of event you want to be at because of the level of consciousness and sort of frequency that we're at. Like I wouldn't invite everybody to some of the other events that we might go to or do, because when you get too business, too linear, you miss the spiritual, you miss the consciousness, you miss the emotional, like it's not integrated at the level that I want to play at. So this is this is where I want to play in business and in life. And so we're going to be doing a lot of that there. So I hope to see you all there.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. All right, guys, check it out. Click the link, and we'll see you March 31st, cocktail hour, and April 1st for diving into making your message your mission and getting it out to the world.
Awesome. Thank you, JJ. I'm looking forward to seeing you and Doug there.
We are looking forward to it, too.